Hetty Woods, right? And
Yes.
then we've got Mr. Mottler. Okay. So, Mr. Barry, will just be you speaking today?
Mr. Mottler is in the room,
Okay.
and he's listed. So if there's anything that he can assist you with, Chair, and also Mr. Edwards is there, so he can assist in any way, then great.
Okay. Okay, Anne-Marie, over to you.
Okay, so the application today, Chair, is a variation application for Soho at Concert Square, and the applicant is the Pub Invest Group Limited, and the designated premises supervisor is Edward Godden. The application was received on the 11th of February, and the premises is a licensed premises. The existing licence summary is as follows: live music, recorded music, performance of dance, making music, facilities for dancing, entertainment of a similar description, Monday to Sunday 9 till 3, late night refreshment Monday to Sunday 23 till 3, supply of alcohol on and off the premises Monday to Sunday 9 till 3. Opening hours Monday to Sunday 9 till 3. The details of the variation as laid out today is to increase the hours of licensable activity on Friday and Saturday till 4 o'clock in the morning, and remove condition number 5 for the first floor is a function room only, and to remove that condition off. So it's for films, indoor sport, live music, recorded music, performance of dance, entertainment of a similar description, Sunday to Thursday 8 till 3, but Friday and Saturday till 4. Late night refreshment Friday and Saturday till 4. Supply of alcohol 8 till 4 Friday and Saturday, and opening hours to increase Friday and Saturday 8 till 04:45. Now, during the 28-day consultation period, Merseyside Police have agreed conditions. So they've agreed to revise the wording of the original CCTV condition on the licence. They require a minimum amount of door staff. A challenge 21/25 policy is to be adopted. No under 18s permitted on the premises. An incident book, staff training, knife wands and metal detectors for use on random and regular basis, and a written knife crime risk assessment also to be undertaken. We've received 3 representations against the application, 2 from elected members and 1 from an interested party. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you for that, Anne-Marie. Okay, Mr. Barry, over to you.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon. With regard, can I address the Councillor's representations first? And although I understand that these are 2 separate representations, because they are identical, I'd like to summarise them both together. And I think that the concerns of the councillors are an increase in crime and disorder, intoxication, queuing disorder, congregation on Concert Square, and general disorder due to longer hours and alcohol being taken off the premises, road safety, and the detrimental effects and improvements to Concert Square that have already taken place. The councillors also cite within this representation the potential for underage drinking and nuisance to residents, as well as COVID-19 issues and spread of this virus. If I can address those issues. In discussion with Merseyside Police, conditions were agreed. You've heard them outlined effectively by the officer, who's done it very capably. And I think some of those conditions in their own right were actually amended that were conditions already on the licence. And these are in your report pack, and these to negate the issues that the councillors have raised concerning crime and disorder and the problems associated with intoxication. The company operates on Concert Square and other premises. A robust queuing system outside this venue and indeed all its venues on Concert Square. And in the vicinity of the square, the company also applies at a cost to themselves, as I've said in previous hearings, around £3,000 a road closure area for Fleet Street that operates from Concert Street down to David Lewis Street to act as a buffer zone for that square, so that if there are any overflow issues, people can travel safely between those. However, it's got to be said that Soho, which is the subject of today's hearing, is right on the corner with Wood Street. There have been, in terms of underage drinking, etc., there have been several ATU test purchases in the area over the years, and these premises have indeed been tested. The Weights and Measures Department didn't deem it necessary to put forward any representations because, as far as we're aware, the premises has never failed a test purchase, and Challenge 25 is one of the agreed conditions with the police. It should be noted that not a single resident has put forward a representation, nor environmental health. And incidentally, the premises has had off sales on its premises licence, which is one of the objections within the representations put forward by the council, since I believe the premises licence was granted. As far as COVID-19 infections concerns, the purview of the government is the public health. I believe that this is the purview of the government and public health. I would draw your attention to a recent subcommittee, your decision concerning this, and I quote, the subcommittee did not consider that licence and objective of promoting public safety would justify the refusing an application because of the perceived risk of increased COVID-19 transmission. The subcommittee had to have regard to the government's section 182 guidance, which was quite clear that the public safety objective concerns the safety of the people using the relevant premises rather than the public health, which is addressed in other legislations. However, I'd go further and say that this issue was considered as part of the review of the licensing policy for inclusion in said policy, and I believe it was rejected by the full licence committee. So I would hope that in terms of the concerns of the councillors, initially I've addressed some of those. Obviously in discussion, we can go further. The only thing that I would ask, and I would ask this at every hearing, is that no new evidence is put forward because we haven't had the opportunity to see it, review it and question it. Thank you for your time, Chair.
Okay, Mr. Barry. So this is asking for an extra hour on Friday and Saturday, right?
So I believe.
And the condition of a back room function room. Is that right?
So I believe, Mr. Edwards, can you expand on that for us?
Yeah.
Because Mr. Edwards made the actual application.
Okay, Mr. Edwards.
Thank you, Chair. The actual room is upstairs in Soho. There was an initial condition on the licence which stated that was to be used as a function room only. I'm not sure why that was added at any point, but we just requested that it be removed so it becomes part of the live licence premises.
Yeah, I think in the past, and I'm going back a long time, there's been a problem with that room, and I was supervised because you're at a booth, I think, to use it. Am I right? I think so. So
we operated it that way, but that was never a condition on the licence. That was simply in relation to prior to us owning the premises when it was, I can't remember what it used to be before that.
So,
Irina.
So how is this room going to be used?
It'll just be used as an extension of the venue, likely on a weekend when it's busier, not in any particular different way. Okay.
So will you have extra security staff on that room?
Yes, Chair. Anytime we use an extra floor, we always have additional security on.
So they'll be on at all time?
Anytime that room's open, yes.
Yeah, okay. So it's just going to be used like the bar area?
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
Okay, all right. That's all I have to say at the moment. I'm going to bring Councillor Kelly. Have you got any questions?
It's only in regard to the door staff. How many door staff are going to be on duty?
It depends again on what time of day or night it is. At a maximum on a Saturday, we have up to, well, we have had up to 12 for particular events, but on a normal Saturday, we'd have up to 8 door lads on.
Okay. And then on other evenings, I presume that'll be less.
Yeah, it depends on the night's trade, but there's always a minimum of 2 on. We do on a normal, say Monday or Tuesday night, we tend to have 3 or 4, but there'll always be a minimum of 2.
Okay, that's fine. That's all I've got. Thanks.
Mr. Edwards, do you have any female door staff?
We do have, we use Nation Security, and part of our agreement with Nation is that on key venues, they don't do it on every venue, but on key venues, including Soho, that we do always have a female member of staff on.
Mr. Marius, have you got any questions?
Question, Chair, to Mr. Edwards. How long have you had the premises now, Mr. Edwards?
Pub Best has owned the premises for, I believe, since 2013, and we've operated it in the current state since then.
Thank you.
So you've had no problem with the police in those 7 years, or you've never been before licensed them?
Anytime we've had any issues or any incidents whatsoever, the police have always come back to us and said we've handled it the best way we possibly could, and we've had no further action.
I think that's what Councillor Marrat was getting at. I think he wanted to know that. Okay.
Chair, can I just say something, Chair?
Go on.
The last review was on site. It was before we purchased the property, which it was called Cllr. That was the last time it went for us. So since we owned it, it's never been for a review.
Yeah, that's where with them. That's why there was a condition, but our low back room goes back to them. So you'd have to watch that back room. Okay.
Yeah.
Paul, have you got any questions?
Oh no, thank you, Chair. Nothing from me.
Okay, I'm going to bring in Councillor Woods.
Hi there, thank you.
Over to you.
Hi, yeah, thank you. Just to say, pleased to see the conditions with the police. That allays some of our worries in our original objection. So glad that they have been agreed to. Just would make the point that Mr. Barry once again has raised that residents are not objecting. The purpose of a councillor is to represent residents. I don't understand why Mr. Barry doesn't understand that, but that's
I do, with respect, Chair, I do understand that. It's not been.
Mr. Barry,
there's no evidence being to support that.
I didn't come in when you were speaking.
No one interrupted you, and then you can respond. Okay. Go on, Councillor Woods.
So our objections went in on the basis of residents in the area being concerned about the extra hour and a bit, just because it's an extra hour of drinking, I think, but an extra hour and 15 minutes of opening time that takes it till about 5 o'clock in the morning. I think it's 4:45, is it? So residents are just concerned about that external hour. What I would be grateful for is management of the exiting of the premises at that hour in terms of disorder and noise for local residents. In terms of the upstairs room and in general, be looking at if we could get a noise limiter and level set by colleagues in environmental health and licensing, just to make sure. I think there were issues about management, but as I recall, there were also issues about the noise from the room that wasn't being managed appropriately. And I understand that it wasn't under the current management, but the level of sound insulation remains the same on the building. So would just appreciate residents are worried about the extra hour, but if we can have reassurances that will be managed appropriately, then we can move forwards with that. And again, would said that in this circumstance we would have been more than happy to speak to the licensee and the representative before this meeting to speak about those asks. Thank you.
Okay. So we're talking about the noise and how the egress from the establishment, where to get taxis and stuff like that. We're talking about that, and maybe a noise limiter. Mr. Edwards, can I ask you a question before I come back to Mr. Barry? Will there be music played in that room, or is the music played outside in Concert Square or inside of these premises? Can you explain that to me, please?
Yeah, happily, Chair. Yes, there will be music played in the upstairs room, no different to what's played in the rest of the venue. On the external, we have directional speakers that have been agreed with environmental health. When you're outside of the square, you can't hear anything. They're all low-level background directional speakers. And I'd just like to point out, though, that the outside area doesn't have any effect on this license because we have a condition of 2 a.m. to clear the outside area. So this extension would only apply to the inside anyway.
Okay. So it's going to be local music, you're saying. I'll bring you in, Mr. Motley, in a minute. Mr. Edwards, you talking about low-level music. It's not going to be like just go screaming, shouting music.
Sorry, Chair. When I was referring to low-level music, I was referring to the directional speakers that you asked about on the outside area.
Right.
In the upstairs room, it would be as part of the normal venue, but we have in the past dealt with environmental health and come up to agreed levels of sound, which is what we currently trade at, and we don't currently have any complaints about it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Motley, you wanted to come in?
Yes, Chair. I just wanted to say this room that we're talking about is currently getting used before COVID every Friday, Saturday. So nothing's changing. All it is it won't be pre-booked. It could be anyone going upstairs. But, you know, again, in a few weeks' time, this would be open every Friday, Saturday, and we've never had the issue with upstairs, never had to complain about upstairs because upper floors is empty, it's open air. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you. Councillor Kelly, have you got any questions for Councillor Woods?
Yeah, just in regard to the contact that the councillors have had from local residents, roughly how many local residents have been in touch with you regarding this application? And also, have the residents been in touch with you just specifically regarding problems with these premises, or what has it been regarding what might happen generally if the hours are extended?
So in terms of this specific application, I've had representations and contact from 5 different residents. One who is very involved with his residents group, but I don't know if it was on behalf of that residents group or not. So I wouldn't want to say that. We have previously had issues from residents around the square, and particularly from the tea factory. I can't say that it's just Soho, because there are 6 premises in the small area, so I can't say it's just Soho, but noise in Concert Square has been an issue. So residents all around, but the residents from the tea factory are generally the most vocal, I'll say.
Okay, that's all I've got. Thanks.
Mr. Edwards, did you want to respond to something, Dave?
Sorry, thanks, Chair. Just if I may respond, you mentioned that you get regular complaints from the tea factory. The tea factory building's actually opposite St. Peter's Square, not Concert Square.
No, I know it is, but the noise arcs around like this. It is Concert Square noise. We have been there at night time. You can the way that one of the sound engineers explained it to me was noise arcs, and it does go to the upper floors of the tea factory.
Mr. Marriott, have you got any questions?
Just one, Chair. Sorry. Councillor Wood, have you had any representations given to you before today's licensing application, or did they only come to you because of the licence application today?
I've had on and off people complaining over the last few years. It's something that happens, and as a city centre councillor, we're used to up and down, and you'll get different premises that will change the volume of their things, but I'm not going to say now that there are issues with Soho in particular. It's just in the noise of the local area in particular at night. I'm not saying that I'm saying it's Soho causing these issues. And in regards to this specific application, I've had contact from several different residents in regards to this, but also in regards to previous so as a whole for Concert Square from the applications that were in last week. So again, wasn't complaints specifically about Soho, but was complaints about concerns about Concert Square as a whole.
Thank you. That's all, Chair.
Thank you for that. Paul, have you got any questions?
Oh, no, thank you, Chair. Nothing from me.
Okay. No questions from anybody else, the councillor? No. Okay, summing up. Mr. Barry.
Chair, sorry. Carl hasn't answered yet the query he had with the councillor.
Thank you, Councillor.
Representation.
Yeah. The point I made, and I interjected when I did because it was new information that had come forward to us during this hearing. We've had no evidence of any complaints from the local residents which could have been presented at this hearing with enough time given to us. Also, with regard to these premises and with regard to this hearing, it is solely about the application for Soho and not what's going on in the rest of the area. I think that's important that we establish that with regard to noise, environmental health are the body of experts with regard to noise. There's been no representations whatsoever from environmental health. The reason that I said that there'd been no residents representations or evidence put forward is because we can only deal with what is on the paper, what's presented to us. Otherwise, we're being hijacked halfway through a hearing, and that's simply not on, effectively.
I wouldn't allow that to happen, Mr. Barry. Don't worry about it. We make our decision and what's put before us, and you should know that. I think a lot of you know that. I'm going to bring in Councillor Woods, and I hope it's not going to be a two-way conversation here, because I'm not going to allow it. Go on, Councillor Woods. I'll just allow this time.
No. It was just to say that I wasn't. I was complaining about the fact that Mr. Barry does not seem to acknowledge that councillors are representatives, not just in their own right, and I think that's happened before. And I think
I don't think it has.
There we go.
Yeah.
Behave yourself. Okay, behave yourself. Just behave yourself. All right. Thanks for that, Councillor Woods. Okay. Right. Summing up, Mr. Barry.
Thank you. Okay, we believe that we've addressed all of the points and concerns set forth by the parties making the representations before you today. Anything outside of those would be things that we've not had disclosure to us prior to this hearing, and therefore it wouldn't be possible for us to address adequately. However, in the future, should my clients prove derelict in the duty to promote the licensing objectives, there's always the option for a review of the premises licence. My client is probably the biggest single operator in the city in terms of independents or pub companies, and employs around about 900 people, and there are further 100 job offers on the line. In making your decisions today, we would ask the subcommittee to take into account the facts and demonstration of due diligence so far by the applicants, and grant the application with amendments and the conditions offered.
Sorry, was that me?
Yes.
Sorry, it's on mute. Yeah, would just like to say welcome the conditions put on by the police, welcome the work by the applicants previously. Would like mitigating features to be brought in terms of egress and noise disturbance at that time of night, and would also appreciate a limiter or something in the upstairs room, just to be careful about additional noise, and a limiter in the premises in general. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor. Maybe in the future we could all get together and maybe sit around the table after the election. There's a few things I'd like to bring to Mr. Mottler. And in the past, Mr. Mottler's I've had a coffee on our own, and we've discussed things, and we were setting things up because of COVID. And I'd like to go back to that, Mr. Mottler, but I'd like to include Councillor Woods. Is that okay with you?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, because we were going to bring in culture as well. So we'll sort something out after the election. And I do thank you for that, Mr. Mottler. Thank you, Councillor Woods. Right. Okay, everybody, what will happen is we will make a decision this afternoon. That decision will be forwarded to you in the next 5 working days by post. If for any reason no one's happy with the decision we make today, you have 21 days to appeal our decision through the Magistrates' Court. If that be the case, I do suggest you seek legal advice